For Pacifica Radio, I'm Scott Baba. A top European Union official says the 27 EU countries have sealed a deal to provide Ukraine with a new €50 billion support package, despite weeks of threats from Hungary to veto the move. Ahead of the EU summit vote on Ukraine aid, Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk told reporters Ukraine is drawing united support from the 27-nation bloc, except from Hungary and its Prime Minister Viktor Orban.
What we need today is to strengthen our unity around Ukraine and versus Russia and its aggressive policy. I can't understand, I can't accept this very strange and very egoistic game of Viktor Orban.
The agreement announced by European Council President Charles Michel on financial aid for Ukraine's war-ravaged economy was reached in the first hour of a summit he was chairing in Brussels today. That Hungary lifted its veto and so quickly came as a surprise. Orban blocked the package's adoption in December and had threatened to do the same this week. Ukraine's economy desperately needs propping up nearly 2 years into the war sparked by Russia's invasion, and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky welcomed the EU's decision to approve the roughly $54 billion package. Megumi Lin has more.
Zelensky responded to the EU's decision on Thursday, saying he was grateful to European Council President Charles Michel and EU leaders for establishing the €50 billion Ukraine facility. The aid package will be supplied to Kyiv over the next 4 years. This is a big morale boost for Ukraine as military aid from the US continues to stall in Congress. Zelensky said it was very important that the decision on Thursday was made by all 27 EU leaders, which proved the strength of the EU's unity.
And that was Megumi Lin. Meanwhile, convoys with hundreds of angry farmers driving heavy-duty tractors are creating chaos outside the European Union's headquarters, demanding leaders at the summit provide relief from rising prices and bureaucracy. Farmers pelted police in the Belgian capital with firecrackers, eggs, and beer bottles through the thick smoke from burning bales of hay, and security forces used water cannons to douse fires and keep farmers from felling a tree on the steps of the European Parliament. Today's protests are the culmination of weeks of protests around the bloc. Farmers say it's becoming harder than ever to make a decent living. Farmers are a key electoral group, and leaders have scrambled to respond to their demands ahead of EU parliamentary elections in June. Ross Colin has more.
We're here in the centre of the Belgian capital, a major demonstration going on. You might be able to hear it in the background. Some of the protesters here. There are tractors surrounding Place Luxembourg, which is right in the centre of the European Union quarter in front of the European Parliament building. Fireworks going off. There are big tyre fires that have been set going as well by farmers. But it's not just agricultural workers here in Brussels. There are the left wing, the right wing are here. There are demonstrators from pro-climate groups, anti-free trade groups, Italian demonstrators and Spanish demonstrators, people also from the Baltic states like Estonia here, all demonstrating for different reasons in the centre of the Belgian capital. Ross Cullen, Brussels.
The United States has attributed the drone attack that killed 3 U.S. service members in Jordan to the Islamic resistance in Iraq, an umbrella group of Iran-backed militias that includes the militant group Kataib Hezbollah. National Security Council spokesman John Kirby said that the U.S. believes the attack was planned, resourced, and facilitated by the group. The Sunday drone attack on a military base in Jordan killed 3 American troops and injured at least 40 others. Kirby said yesterday that President Joe Biden will continue to weigh response options to the attack, but, quote, the first thing you see won't be the last thing. Republicans are challenging extended mail ballot deadlines in at least 2 states in a move that could have severe implications for mail voting nationwide ahead of this year's presidential election. A lawsuit filed last week in Mississippi follows a similar one last year in North Dakota. Both brought in heavily Republican states before conservative federal courts. Democratic and voting rights groups are concerned about the potential impact beyond those 2 states if a judge rules that deadlines for receiving mailed ballots that stretch past Election Day violate federal law. A spokesperson for the Republican National Committee said the group hopes to obtain a judicial precedent before November's presidential election. A judge in London has thrown out a lawsuit by former U.S. President Donald Trump accusing a former British spy of making, quote, shocking and scandalous claims that were false and harmed his reputation. Judge Karen Stein said the defendant was entitled to summary judgment and the case should not go to trial. Trump sued Orbis Business Intelligence, the company founded by Christopher Steele, who created a dossier in 2016 that contained rumors and uncorroborated allegations about Trump that erupted in a political storm just before he was inaugurated. The former president sought damages from Orbis for allegedly violating British data protection laws. The firm sought to have the case thrown out. I'm Scott Baba for Pacifica Radio.